Okay, so 439 plus 89 times 5 or 6. 89 plus 89 plus 89. 888 pounds. Roll the intro. Yes, that's right, 888 pounds, or in English that is 888 pounds, or in American that is 888 pounds. Hello and welcome from myself and Des. This is a Starlink update from real world user beta tester month 6. So I've had it since March, and last month's been pretty challenging in terms of content. I'm so sorry I haven't been around as much as I'd like to be. Kids are now back at school, so hopefully that gives me the freedom to make these very informative videos. And speaking of informative, I had a comment on my last video saying just get to the point. But you, the viewers, always want to see the sheep. Now this is a sensitive time of the year for the sheep. It's actually mating season, and filming sheep while they're mating is, well, it's weird. Or is it? It's awkward. Awkward because if somebody sees you do it, it's going to look odd. What are you doing? Well, I'm filming for a YouTube video on Starlink. What's Starlink? Internet from space. It's not going to go down very well. So I've done an overhead satellite view, and this is what's going on in the field today. So you can see the big boy there. He's one with a blue harness. That blue harness. That one in the middle of the field there, just having a nap. He's been busy this morning by the look of it. And this guy's just following his soon-to-be friend. And on that harness, he has paint. So whenever he mounts a sheep, he leaves a patch on her back. So that's what the sheep are doing. So glad that this has been massively informative in terms of Starlink so far. Don't know if I said for myself and Des. I think I might have. Feel like I'm going crazy because well, it's been so long since I've done one of these videos. Des has not been updated. He's my Starlink router, and if you have, or you're new to Starlink, or you're getting Starlink in the foreseeable future, which may be more people than it used to be because this is now the rollout, don't use that router. You can keep it as an ornament, put eyes on it, mustaches, and be creative with it because they look better like that, and they do a better job. Honestly, they're much better than plugged in. A bit rubbish. Use any router. You don't need to do anything. Just plug it in, and it works. So on to the serious stuff then. So speed tests are running the corner, and it's been a tough time, I think, for Starlink users across the world. There's been numerous firmware updates, and one of the gripes is that we don't know what these updates bring. However, they just seem to be getting worse and worse and worse. Actually, here's the current firmware that we're on. Now this one's alright, and the speed tests do relate to it. I had tried to make a video a few days ago when it was particularly. Yeah, I mean, it probably looks a bit more consistent, but in today's speed test that I am sharing, it's pretty crappy. Apart from this one blip, which shows a huge spike. I don't quite know what happened there, but if I was getting that speed upload, 103 or something, man, that's insane. I've never had those crazy download spikes where people have been reporting massive speeds. That's not happened to me, and in fact, I could show you. A few days ago when it was particularly bad, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. The speed tests on this same firmware were awful, and it kind of demotivated me. I wanted Starlink to be so much better than it is, and do hear this right, because I am exceptionally grateful of my £888 investment. because my alternative is fiber to cabinet, and that's really not an option for the work I do. I just, it was terrible. So the bottom line is, if you have the option of fiber to premises, of course you're going to go with that at the minute. That brings us on to some interesting news that's coming out. The Generation 2 satellites are about to be launched. There's been a bit of a pause between satellites going up into space for the last 3 months. The new satellites are going to be going up, and they're all going to have laser. Things should work a lot better. In actual fact, they're going to launch more satellites per flight than they have been previously, I think, and I am prepared to be corrected on this. They were previously launching 60, and now they're going to launch a few hundred. I was going to say 400, and I've only read these articles once. I'll put a link in the description where I read that, and I could be wrong. It's a lot more than 60. So we're going to see this vast coverage expand, and hopefully performance increase, and that's really what I would focus on at the minute. Is performance. And it's been hit and miss, and so many people coming in from across the world having different type of issues. Dropouts aren't really a big thing here, especially where I am in the UK. I don't really get massive dropouts, but it is a bit of a shotgun approach. There is numerous places that do get dropouts and still struggle. Some other news I find, which I think is quite interesting, is on Mac Rumors about the iPhone 13. And apparently it's going to use LEO satellites to connect when you can't get 4G or 5G or any cellular connection. So I'm guessing that's going to be an interesting way forward for the future. Maybe that's what Mr. Musk was talking about when he thinking about other uses or ways to rent his satellites out. Now, another thing on the performance, I've seen pigeon poop pop up a lot on the forums and saying that satellite... Actually, I think there was a specific professor who said that it's going to be the hindrance of satellite internet. So what did I do? I took my drone up and had a look at mine. So as you can see, my dish is on the roof at the highest point, and that's me in the garden spinning around like a lunatic. But when you zoom in on the dish itself, there is a turd on it. And a pigeon has crapped on my dish. It doesn't affect performance. I imagine that will wash off in the rain. I don't think it'll be a problem, unless you've got thousands of them all sitting there having a massive crap party. I think it'll be alright. So yeah, it's good to be back. This is the performance of the minute. It's alright. It's alright. And the global rollout, the big news, it was supposed to come in August. Don't know what that is. Not sure whether it was the end of beta, because it's not. It still feels like it's very much in beta. Asked a question to the community: what would you most like to see Starlink do in the future? Unanimously, people want to see release notes. When it comes to firmware, people want to know what's going on, and I think it's only fair. You know, we get these firmware update dates, and things can be really tough for a while, and yeah, you can't really give feedback. You can just say it's not working very well, and then they will get back to you. Ping has not dropped very much. I think bottoming out about 24, 23 minimum, which I thought it would have been slightly better by now. I guess once the lasers are turned on towards the end of the year, all the satellites are in position, I think it will improve dramatically. So there you have it. That is the update from here in South Cambridge in the United Kingdom. Thank you so much for joining me, and the sheep update, maybe next time I'll have a more thorough sheep update. Be lambing soon, actually. Lambs are always cute. They always get lots of YouTube views. I imagine once I start putting videos of lambs up, I could maybe convert from Starlink into the lamb man. I don't know if that works or not. So on that note, it's Friday. Whatever you're doing for the rest of the day, have a good one, and I will catch you later.